Cursor have released version 2.0. So Cursor is an AI-assisted IDE development environment, a tool that allows you to both code using your programming knowledge, but also to use AI assistance to help you with that. And Cursor is in an interesting place in the market. It's more complex than using, let's say, a Lovable or a Bolt. Those are very easy. They just give you a chat interface and you do your work. They have limitations because they don't give you as much access to the back end and the code itself. They are really good starting points. I highly recommend, if you have not tried vibe coding, you start with Lovable. Cursor, the reason is, if you open Cursor for the first time, it is terrifying looking. It's based on a piece of software called VS Code, which is programming software. So the first time you open it, you're like, ooh, it's scary. I'm not using that. I'm going to go back to Lovable. That's what you should do when you're starting out. When you feel you are pushing up against the limits of what Lovable can do, Cursor is what I recommend as the next step. When you are fine working in GitHub, you don't mind messing around with the terminal, doing localhost, for example. If these things to you don't mean anything, stay with Lovable for now, but you will move as you use code, as you vibe code more and more, you'll move towards these things naturally. You're fine installing your own dependencies, etc., etc. If you can do all of that, then Cursor is amazing. And what they've just released yesterday is Cursor 2.0. What they've done, which is really interesting, is they have made it closer to Lovable and to Bolt. It still doesn't look pretty. They have fundamentally changed their interface. You now have two panels. You have one, which is the editor with all your code. It's very intimidating looking. They now have a new tab, which is called Agents. In Agents, it's chat-based. You have a chat with the agent. You can set up to 8 different agents doing different tasks for you at the same time. You can compare their work. You can then pull those changes into your code base. It looks a lot more accessible. They're moving in that direction with this new agent interface. You can still get into the code in the background, but this gives us a nice clean way to interact with our code. It's very similar, if anyone's been using it since last week, to Claude Code web version, which is basically a list of your chats, a chat window, and then the code that it's generating. It's definitely a push in the right direction. Alongside releasing Cursor 2.0, they have given us their own large language model called Composer. Composer is a frontier model that they've built themselves that is 4 times faster than similarly intelligent models. The model is built for low latency, so high speed, completing most turns in under 30 seconds. Early testers found the ability to iterate quickly with the model delightful and trust the model for multi-step coding tasks. Composer was trained with a set of powerful tools, including codebase-wide semantic search, so it can look all over your code and work out what's gone wrong or what to improve, making it much better understanding and working in large code bases. I'm not sure if it is based on Claude or ChatGPT. I haven't read. They're saying it's a frontier model, so they might have trained it themselves. Yeah, I think they've built their own model. It's specific for coding, which is a huge task. I've started using it myself this morning. I have not used it enough to be able to give any thoughts on it, but the first 2 tasks I put it on, it dealt with no problem. I normally use Claude Code or Sonnet 4.5, and it will deal with those kind of tasks as well. But Composer seems to be a new model that is working at that same high level. So it's fantastic to get more competition. And what else? There is multi-agent interface, and there's a whole bunch of new changelogs. Multi-agents, Composer is their new model, browser. So they have added a browser inside of Composer. So previously, if you're working on localhost, if you're working on your computer, you would set up something called localhost, which is like a local server that lives on your computer. That would allow you to run web pages and web apps. They've made it a lot easier. It has its own browser inside of Cursor now, so you can see you can preview your work. Whereas before, you'd set it up on localhost, you'd get Chrome or whatever your browser is and go to localhost 3000. They're just making it a bit more seamless. This is going to make it easier for new people who have no idea what I'm talking about to be able to use it as well. Improved code review, sandbox terminals. There's a whole slew of new changes. Voice mode. Now this is very cool. For anyone who's watched me do a vibe coding stream, you know that I use voice mode. I like to talk to my agent. I like to be able to say, this is what's not working, this is what I want to do, this is what we're seeing, etc. and use my voice because it's a lot more comfortable. And I feel that is the essence of vibe coding. You're not even typing, you are just talking to your artificial intelligence. So there's a whole bunch of different updates. I have not tried it out in full detail. I've only done a few agent runs this morning, but so far I'm very excited. If you have not tried Cursor before, this is probably a good time to do. If you haven't done any vibe coding before, I'd still recommend you start with, for example, Lovable, just because it's going to get you into the flow of building a piece of software a lot faster. You're not going to hit frustrations and you're going to get the bug. And that's what we want early on, is for you to be like, ooh, I can build stuff. This is really cool. Lovable is still going to be better for that. But now Cursor is increasingly getting easier. So I think you'll be able to graduate from Bolt Replit a lot earlier over to Cursor. That's the hope. Not that you have to, but if you did want to, now it's going to be easier to do because Cursor 2.0 is pretty good and a lot easier to use. They've just added voice into Cursor. Lovable added voice about a month ago, and they did it with 11 Labs. It's actually a really good voice tool. Because if you've ever used voice on a Mac to dictate or something like that, it's terrible. It's not a very good voice model, whereas 11 Labs is a good voice model. Lovable use, I don't know what Cursor are using. I'm assuming it would be good though, just because most of the things they put out are high quality. They don't ship duds. It does not say who the voice is by, so they might have made their own voice agent.